Alright. Alrighty. Alright, let's see. Let's see what we got here. What's this again? Welcome, welcome, one and all. It is that day again when we will explore some new legal foundation. Hope everybody is good. We're about to get started shortly. Okay, so it's only regulations then. Greetings, everybody. Lawful, welcome everybody. I see we're about to get started. And we're going to talk about today we're going to talk about a current happening that has been circulating in the news And I have actually just posted a video about it, and it is about the National Water Commission Prohibition order that was issued less than a month ago. Where TikTok get that from? TikTok AI summary. Yeah, so we're gonna go a little bit into the National Water Commission Act and the regulations, because many people, a matter of fact, this regulation was not, or this act and its regulations were not easily found. So I have posted them on Voice of Jamaica under the research section. So you can find both acts under there. And, you know, I want to touch on this topic because it is one of the things that we would absolutely abolish in the new constitution. Right? What is this thing that always pops up on INI screen? Like, some of these things are so unnecessary. And you can't get rid of them. At least I don't know how to. Anyways. Yeah, we have the National Water Commission issuing a so-called prohibition order because of the drought. And there is at least one instance of police entering someone's home. We're not sure what happened to the individual, whether they were jailed or whether they were just fined. Excuse me. But it is important to note that I heard one of the interviews where it was being said that the water flowing through the pipes that are supplied by the National Water Commission are property of the National Water Commission, meaning the NWC is stating that it owns the water that flows through the pipes that it uses to supply water to people. Right? And I am saying to myself, how did the NWC come to own that water? How? You see, this is also one of the reasons why in the new constitution, you see something like this, it would not take us 6 months to 10 years to get a resolution. Because the fact is this: if any arm of the government brings a case in front of the Supreme Court or in front of the parish court, that case is going to be heard expeditiously. Because one of the things that are going to be said is that it is in the interest of the public, or it is in the interest of justice, or some other rationale, right? But when an individual or a native brings a case before the court, even sometimes after filing an affidavit of urgency or a motion to expedite or any other mechanism that is available, it takes a while for them to even take a look at it. So sometimes when we get to see some of these situations, it frustrates the public more, because the people are the ones who were supposed to delegate authority to the government, but yet still the people are obviously treated as second class and third class citizens. And this is why I teach on this channel that what you think should happen is not law. What you think should happen is not reality. You have to know for sure what the law says. You have to know for sure what your position is. Because when you think, say, them a public servant to you, you are sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken, you know. For those of you who are new, the position of the people in Jamaica as it concerns citizenship and certain rights are actually in between two dimensions. One dimension is called natural law, and the other dimension is corporate law, colonial law. So it is not easy for anyone to swallow that pill. You're going to think that someone telling you that they are out of their mind. It is ridiculous. You know, nothing no go so. You can get an attorney and they can bring your case before the court and this and that and whatever. But you don't have to take my word for it. But all I will ask anyone to do is make sure you look at the evidence. Don't take my word for it. Say you are still a subject when it comes to the British Crown in Jamaica. Don't take my word for it. Zine? So, one of the first things we're going to look at, because I know there are people with questions that will come up along the way, and they have no idea why we say certain things. So I'm going to make sure that is the first thing I put on the screen. Okay? From last time, we had this picture up, right? And it shows, see if we can zoom it in so you can see. You see, it shows the government of Jamaica, and you can see the JIS logo and website. You see, let me show you. See website there? jis.gov.jm. So, if you want to find the information, it is there. I don't need to convince anyone of anything. I'm just showing the evidence of what we're talking about. Okay, we went through this extensively before, but just to kick things off, here it shows what your government looks like. You see what is at the top? Let me zoom it in, make you see. You see what is listed at the very top of the food chain? Okay. Monarch. Okay. And then what is below that? The Governor General. So make them keep on telling us, say, oh, it is only ceremonial. It doesn't have any significance as far as the government is concerned. So if it don't have no significance, take it down. Take down everything for do with the monarch and see what happen. You know that see what I know that see I wish God do not serve. Take it down, make me see. Don't have anything for the crown on the government websites and see what happened. Take down the coat of arms and see what happened. Sorry for no. Anyways, that is where we start. We are still in a colonial era. And that is why we drafted our own constitution. Right? For those who don't know how to find the constitution, let us take a walk down memory lane. So first, you go to voiceofjamaica.com. Greetings, Sabek. Lawful welcome. You see? voiceofjamaica.com. And from here, all you do is scroll down a little bit and you have new constitution. You click on that, and from there you can download the Constitution of Jamaica. And of course, all the newcomers are going to ask, why the name look like it misspelled? The name is not misspelled. Be brave. Lawful welcome. The name is not misspelled. The new constitution will not continue on a colonial foundation. That is why we created our own name. Okay? This Jamaica is not a colonial construct nor derivative. So that is why you have that. So that is where you start. Okay? You take a look at the Constitution and you see if it is truly something that is beneficial to you, me, and everybody else who call themselves a Jamaican. All right? So, back to the topic at hand. Oh, before we continue, for those of you who find yourself struggling, for those of you who find yourself in a bind all the time, you can't keep a job, you can't keep money, you can't get anything where you do, it just seems so difficult. You just might have some kind of ancestral contract, some kind of blood oath, something within your family that is affecting you without you knowing it. If you go to voiceofjamaica.com, in the menu you have something called My Voice. See it right there, sir? My Voice. And in that link are the instructions on how you can remove those contracts, covenants, blood oaths, and all kind of things that may be holding your family tree back. This can only affect you. All right? So if you so choose and you want to free yourself of these baggages that your ancestors and even people in your family today may be doing, this is highly beneficial so you can move forward. All right? All you have to do is simply follow the instructions. Read it first. If it resonates with you, there you go. If not, you keep it moving. All right? So, back to the topic at hand. The National Water Commission recently said that they are issuing something called a prohibition order. Right? Because they are claiming that the water that comes through the National Water Commission pipes is their property. Now, among other things, they are claiming that if they declare a prohibition order, that it is somehow considered to be law. Right? Now I'm going to talk about a few things that are going to be eye-opening for many people. All right? Because you know we like to show the evidence of what we're talking about. Excuse me. So here we have the act. The first thing we notice is that it is not signed by anyone. This is just a document that looks like a draft that came straight out of Parliament. But we're not going to look at that. We don't have time to go down that rabbit hole. Let us take a look at something here. So here we have the table of contents, or they call it the arrangement of sections, right? Excuse me. And here we have several different things that people might not be aware of. Now, the first thing to note is that this document is only 27 pages. So it would not take you very long to read it, even if you read 2 pages a day, right? You would have read this in about 16 and a half days, right? A little over 2 weeks you would have done this if you just read 2 pages a day, all right? So, and again, it is not a very long document because most of the things that are written in here are very spaced out and cropped and all them something there. But anyways, it says this act was passed on August 22nd, 1963. So this is 1 year after the so-called independence. Exactly 1 year, right about that, in the same month. So anyways, we're going to look at some of the provisions that they have in this thing. So, let me show you something. So here we have something called a corporate body creation, a corporation being created within an act. Now, this is not uncommon, but people don't know the significance of what these things are and why the legislation is creating corporations as they go along creating these acts. Section 3 or paragraph 3.1 says, there is hereby established a body to be called the National Water Commission, which shall be a body corporate. And a body corporate means a corporation. Look up, Cypher says, look up the Banking Act of 1960 and you'll be surprised. Cypher, I have been there and I have done that. If you came to class, I am sure you would have been surprised. But anyways, we're not going to start today. Right? So the Parliament created the National Water Commission in 1963. Right? And they say with perpetual succession, meaning that it will not have an end date. It will not be like a special purpose corporation. It would be something for the general public into perpetuity, right? So for as long as it is necessary. So with perpetual succession and a common seal and with power to acquire, hold and dispose of property, to enter into contracts, to sue and be sued. Now this is important, right? When a corporation is created, it has to have this provision in there. When it is a statutory corporation, let me put it that way. When you have a statutory corporation, it has to have the provision of to sue and be sued, right? And when someone registers a regular corporation, this is the provision that allows you to take that corporation to court, you know, under any of the licensing legislation, right? So, it has the ability to sue and be sued in its said name and to do all things necessary for the purposes of this act. Now, here's another important thing. You see, when you see the word NWC, that is not a proper name. Unless it is registered or unless it is in some legal document, when you see NWC on anything, it is not the proper name of the commission. Why? It says, there is hereby established a body to be called the National Water Commission, which shall be a body corporate, common seal, power to acquire, hold, and dispose of property, to enter into contracts, blah, blah, blah. Right? Now it says, to sue and be sued in its said name. What does that mean? It means anytime they are doing business, it must be in the name that was created. We talk about this with other acts. We talk about this with other issues within society. When they use abbreviations, when they use other commonly known names, it is not legal nor lawful. You cannot use an alias in law. Imagine if you go, all right, just like the police them, just like if you go to court, can you say your name, John? What is going to happen if the judge say, can you please state your name for the record, sir? Your Honor, my name John. What do you think the judge is going to say? Do you think that will fly with anything else? So, we all know we cannot go out there using aliases. You can't say your name One Drop. You can't say your name Big Head. You can't go out there in the legal world using these aliases and these shortening of names to represent yourself unless you registered it and it is publicly known as such. Okay? So, anything the National Water Commission is doing, this is the proper name it must use, including all contracts and bills. Provided that during the subsistence of a guarantee given under Section 9, the Commission shall not alienate, mortgage, charge, or demise of any of its immovable property without the approval of the minister responsible for finance. So basically, the commission cannot abandon, loan out, or get rid of any of its physical property. I call it immovable property. Something you can take up and move with, right? Unless the minister authorizes it. Is it possible to use another name that is not on your birth certificate and still be lawful? Yes, it can. Yes, you can. You can register it in some way, shape, or form to give public notice, and then you can use that. Yes. Section 2, this is what? 3, paragraph 2. The provisions of the first schedule shall have effect as to the constitution, operation, and expenses of the commission, and otherwise in relation thereto. The seal of the commission shall be authenticated in the manner prescribed in the schedule and shall be judicially and officially noticed. For those of you who don't know what judicial notice is, it is any law or anything in the public that is currently known, like something published in the paper, something that is in an act, something that is in a regulation, something that's in the public venue. Once it is mentioned, it has to be something called judicially noticed. The court has to recognize it. Okay? Or if it is brought to some government building or to some government agent, that agent must acknowledge the authority of that commission or that document. Right? So, when I have a pencil, on a pen, and on a paper, we're about to get deeper. We're about to get to, as you would call it, the gems. This is why it is important to read, people. You're going to see why. You're about to see why it pays to read. If you read, you get paid. If you don't read, you have to pay. It is self-evident in our society. Paragraph 4. Subject to the provisions of this act, it shall be the function of the commission to prepare and submit to the minister from time to time proposals for the establishment of an efficient, coordinated, and economical water supply system capable of meeting the needs for water throughout the island. Let us pause here for a second. Have we ever heard at any time in our lifetime the National Water Commission preparing and submitting proposals to the minister? Have we ever even heard anything in Parliament about National Water Commission? Have you ever heard anything in the news about them submitting proposals to create a better water system? Interesting. So that is what they are supposed to be doing from what? From time to time. That does not mean once in every century. That does not mean once every 5 years, once every 10 years. It's supposed to be at least once in every 3 years from time to time. What are they doing to earn their living? What are they doing to earn their position? This is why these provisions are there. You can't just sit down and look and collect money. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. So you see what it says? And this section is entitled, you see it over here, so? You see what it says? Functions of the commission. So that is a natural function of them. That is what they are supposed to be doing all the time. Preparing until it's time to submit it to the minister for consideration. Right? So that is A. Prepare and submit to the minister from time to time proposals for the establishment of an efficient. What does efficient mean? Something that is better than what you have. Keep on making it better. Coordinated, right? Interconnected water system, coordinate them. An economical water supply system capable of meeting the needs for water throughout the island. B. prepare and submit for the approval of the minister details of schemes for the development of water resources and the supply of water in particular areas, and to carry out such schemes when they are approved. This is very important because the National Water Commission is supposed to be keeping track of what is happening with the water supply on the island. And they are supposed to be preparing ahead of time. They are supposed to be preparing ahead of time so that they can make proposals for development of water resources. So we're not supposed to even care about drought or care about dry season and care about those things. It is the mandate. It is the function defined in the National Water Commission Act that they should, listen man, it shall, subject to the provisions of this act, it shall be the function. What does shall mean? Drop it in the chat. What does shall mean? Make sure that everybody is on the same page. When we hear or see the word shall, what does it mean? Exactly. It must. It have to get done. There is no alternative. You have to go do it. This is what you have to do next. This is mandatory. It is not discretionary. My father's business drilled wells around the island through the 50s, 60s, 70s to provide water. Do we ever even hear that water is being pulled from wells? Do we ever hear of these things? For public and agricultural supply. Nice. I commend him. I commend him on that business. So, it shall be the function. So all of these things in 4A, 41A, 41B, 41C, 41D is mandatory. It is not something that they can look and say, all right, we don't really have to do this. We don't really have to do. No, it shall be the function. You have to do it. All right. We're not going to beat a dead ass too far. So, they are supposed to be preparing and submitting plans and schemes for development of water resources and the supply of water in particular areas. So, if you see that an area doesn't have enough water, the area doesn't have enough water for the people, or that area always has water problems, you have the duty to develop plans and details and schemes how you can make that area better, and to carry out such schemes when they are approved. So you see, they say you have to come up with a plan. You have to come up with all the designs and all of the proposals, and then when they are approved, you're supposed to carry out this development. People, are you seeing the importance of this? Because we're going to talk about the so-called prohibition order afterwards, you know. But we have to see what their job is, and are they doing their job first? C. Keep under constant review the quality, reliability, and availability of water supply services as a whole, and the rates charged for such services, and advise the minister on these and any other matters relating to water supplies in the island which may be referred to the commission by the minister. So the minister also has a duty. The minister can also get complaints, reports, and all those different things, and they can then submit those to the commission to say, hey, listen, this needs to get done. Remote tours, Lawful, welcome, greetings. The minister, whoever is responsible for the NWC, can submit referrals to them to say, listen, this needs to have a plan. You need to go ahead and put together proposals and plans and schematics and all them something there. And once they're approved, they need to be developed and put in place. Have we seen that done? When was the last time you hear that the National Water Commission is developing any water system throughout the island? When was the last time we hear that they are creating some way to make water more efficient? When was the last time we heard that they were doing anything to make sure water is economical? Section D. Within the limits of its resources, provide and improve water supply services throughout the island. Again, they are reiterating the purpose of the National Water Commission and the function given to it. It says, within the limits of its resources, provide and improve water supply services throughout the island. When was the last time NWC improved water supply on the island? What am I reading from? This is the National Water Commission Act. That is what we're reading from. This is section 4.1 and section 4.1 as A, B, C, D, and E. Right? Where's the last time in 1962? High Chief said they can argue the resources are limited. Well, they can argue all they want, but they have a mandate. They have a statutory duty to carry out this mandate. And they have not, to my knowledge. Maybe they have, and we just haven't heard nor seen this progress, right? So now they would have to provide the evidence that they have been doing what is mandated in the act. Why don't they provide the documentation to show this, right? It is that simple. Yes, we're not saying that you haven't done it, but the allegation is that we have not seen any improvements to the water supply for the past 10 years. Can we see some documentation to show that you have been completing the functions given to the National Water Commission? Chief Justice said, okay, I wish someone would read the Constitution too. Well, we have been on the Constitution for quite some time and we always refer to it. But I haven't seen you over here before. Welcome. Welcome to TikTok class, which is very limited. Let's see what else we got. Water can't be limited in Jamaica. Right. If we are working on efficiency, water can't be limited. There will always be alternatives. Right? They are violating the rights protected by the Constitution. Well, Chief Justice, you would have to come to class on another day when we are discussing that the constitutional amendment again, the Charter of Rights. That is not 100% true. It depends on who you are and the status that you declare and the status that you're using. Not when we can see it all over. If water is limited, how roads still are fixed? Can we bring them to court? Absolutely, we can bring them to court. 100%. But first, we need the knowledge. You see, the thing is in a people, and I've said this time and time again, when we bring certain things to an attorney, they are not going to litigate it how it is properly supposed to be litigated in full. I am not downplaying the skill and the tenacity of an attorney. But if they don't get proper directions, they will go to the path of least resistance. Right? So, you have to be knowledgeable enough to direct the attorney, or we would all have to do a class action suit. Right? GFOS, Lawful, greetings, welcome. Nate, greetings, welcome, welcome. Let's see who else we got here. Only in the media water shot. Yeah, so this is the mandate, right? They have a statutory duty. And when we have government bodies and government agents not following the law, we can directly go to the Supreme Court regarding a matter of direct law, right? Where the damage is so widespread, it cannot be contained within a parish court setting. We would bring it directly to the Supreme Court for violation of rights as well, right? Greeting, Deuce Almighty. But first, like I said before, education is paramount. We must know what it is that we are claiming before we run to a court claiming X, Y, and Z, right? So, Section 4.1d states, within the limits of its resources, provide and improve water supply services throughout the island. E, maintain and operate water supply services provided by the Commission. President, greetings, Lawful, welcome. Right? So, here we have the duty that is required of the National Water Commission. This is not something subjective. This is not optional. It is a must. Then can't sidestep this. Then can't say, oh, this and that. No, there is no excuse. Every single year, they are supposed to be working on these duties. They're supposed to be preparing and submitting to the minister proposals. They're supposed to be putting together details of schemes, diagrams, how they can improve and develop the water resources. All of the things that are listed here are mandatory. Why? Because the Act specifically says it shall be the function of the Commission. Meaning there are no alternatives. It must get these things done. If it does not, it is in violation of the National Water Commission Act, which is where it gets its powers from. Its powers and duties come from the National Water Commission Act. But let's not stop there. For the purposes of subsection 1, the Commission may purchase water in bulk. People, when was the last time you heard that National Water Commission had to purchase water? Austin, Lawful, greetings. Welcome, welcome. When are the last time you hear say National Water Commission purchase no water? Since them a claim say drought a come, since them a claim say people need to do this and people need to do that, when are the last time them buy water? It is right here. They have the ability to do this. So if they say water is going to be scarce, you find a way to get water unscarce. All right, we're not going to stop this up. For the purposes of subsection 1, you see? Subsection 1 is this, you know? Section 4.1. And it gives them the mandate to do all of these things. So now we're at number 2. So it says, for the purposes of the functions given in 1, the Commission may purchase water in bulk and sell water either in bulk or to individual customers. Right? So they can buy and sell. This is the primary function of a corporation, to buy and sell. Right? B, acquire any property which the Commission considers necessary or expedient for the purposes of performing its function under this Act. Why is it that we never hear of the National Water Commission purchasing any property? What then do? Then just dig up a road and dig up a side of a road and then gone. Purchase which property? When was the last time National Water Commission purchased any property? C. Acquire the waterworks of any parish council upon such terms and conditions as may be agreed with the parish council, subject to the approval of the minister or in default of agreement determined by the minister. Provide for its employees such assistance and facilities as may be necessary for training, education, and research. With the approval of the appropriate road authority, where we see this before? We see this in the Road Traffic Act of 2018, where they describe the functions of the road authority. With the approval of the appropriate road authority, add to or alter, as it considers necessary, any road, street, or lane adjoining or near to land acquired for the purpose of any water supply service. Who ready for a gem? Who is ready for a gem? Drop a 1 in the chat. If you don't want a gem, you don't have to type anything, you know. We can just move on. We don't really have to do gems, but if you want it, you can put a 1 in the chat. CJ, Lawful greetings, welcome. Okay, we got a few ones. We got a few ones coming in. All right. So here we go on. Make we talk about a gem right here. When as since the water is all over St. Thomas running to seaside. I'm going to ask you a question. For those of you who own property, have 1 yard or roadside, did you know that your property extends all the way to the road? Let me ask that again. Did you know that anybody who owns property or holds property, because you can't really own it, you're a landholder. If you hold property next to a road, your property is extended to where the road begins. So you see when time NWC come and then dig up the side of your property? Did you know you now have damaged the property? Did you know this is why they must leave the area the same way they saw it when they came? So, and I hear people complain about this all the time. NWC come and just dig up a road, then dig up a side of this, then dig up and then do this and then do that. They do that and they leave it there because they know most people will never know that they can go straight to court and claim damages. Imagine you plant up anything on roadside. Your flowers, you plant up grass, you have stones and whatever else, making up something, whatever. I don't know what that name is, but individuals say false. Road reserve and paved roads are two different references. Cite your sources. That simple. So here it says, with the approval of the appropriate road authority, right? Add to or alter as it considers necessary any road, street, or lane adjoining or near to land acquired for the purpose of any water supply service. Does this encompass your private property? Where does this say? Where does this say? The side of any property on any road, street, or adjoining lane. It said near to land acquired for the purpose of any water supply service. Them free to dig up the road. They are not free to dig on your property. Again, people, we don't go by opinions over here, you know. We are looking at the evidence. Me not come over here to discuss what you think or what me think. We look at the evidence and we come to a conclusion. It is that simple. So if you have a contention, hey, I am always willing to learn, you know, because I don't know everything. But if you're going to contend, bring some evidence, bring some kind of reference that we all can see what it is you're contending. It's that simple, right? So, if you don't believe, say, NWC don't have permission to dig on your property, then you just keep it moving. But it is a fact. There is nothing in the legislation that states that NWC can just come and dig up the side of your property just to run lines and do whatever they want. The legislation clearly states it has to do with road or any property acquired by NWC. That is what it says, unless me I read wrong. Somebody tell me if I know so it say. I know so it say. Did I read that wrong? All right. F, with the approval of the minister, acquire land for the purpose of adding to or altering any road, street, or lane adjoining or near to land acquired for the purpose of any water supply service. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Did the National Water Commission acquire the land that is running on the side of the road on your property? Does the National Water Commission pay you for running their main lines along your property line? Me just ask, you know, me just ask. Do you get paid for the NWC line that is on your property next to the road? And if you never get paid, how much years now them run that the pipe there? Interesting. Me just ask, as Finsack would say. Let us move on. G, subject to such notice to the appropriate road authority and to such conditions as may be prescribed, open or break up any road, street, or lane for the purposes of laying down, extending, inspecting, altering, renewing, or repairing any waterworks or sewage system. So let me ask you a question. Is your property listed here? This is what they have authority to do, you know. It says to any road, street, or lane. Is your property in the road or in the street or in the lane? Me just ask, you know. Where does your property begin and where does it stop? And If it is that the NWC run water pipe along your property on the side of the road, instead of running it in the road, they run it on the side of the road because they know want to repair it when time the big truck them run over it and bust the pipe them, so they run it along your property. Me does ask these questions because it does not seem to be self-evident. Jaja. What if I told you we did not get to the good part yet? What if I tell you this is just the beginning? I want to say I don't want gems, you know, and me just come out with it. We just read and I have like a fun with it. It says the NWC has the authority to break up any road, street, or lane for the purpose of laying down, extending, or doing whatever with waterworks and sewage system. Where does it say it can come and dig up your property or any portions thereof to do this? Nowhere do I see it. I don't see that. Let us proceed. Section 42H. So this is section 242H. Carry on all such activities as may appear to it necessary or expedient for or in connection with the performance of its functions. Okay? Let us take a look at somewhere else. We're not going to go through everything, you know. But I tell you now, walk with a pencil on a paper. Or you can watch the replay on YouTube. We're going to go to another section that I found particularly interesting. Gonna ready for the next gem? Or wanna still take notes? When I'm ready for the next gem, I'm gonna drop a one in the chat. Exactly, the acts are their limits. Let us know when thou art ready, and we shall proceed with a one. All right, we see some ones in the chat. So here we have section 9, which talks about power of minister to guarantee loans to commission. Right? And people, if your hands are free, tap up the live so TikTok knows that we're here. You see, the agents are not out today. TikTok police, Lawful, welcome. The agents are not out today, so we haven't had any reports that we are over here showing nudity or anything like that. So far we're good. But we're not going to bank on ignorance, right? All right. Section 9 talks about the power of the minister to guarantee loans to the commission. We're going to go to a relevant section here. Section 3. A matter of fact, let us talk about section 2 first. Because we mentioned this earlier in the year and we haven't talked much about it. Here is going to be another mention. Section 9.2 says, where the minister responsible for finance is satisfied that there has been default in the repayment of any principal monies guaranteed under the provisions of this section or in the payment of interest or charges so guaranteed, he shall direct the repayment or, as the case may be, the payment out of the consolidated fund of the amount in respect of which there has been such default, and any such repayment or payment shall be a charge on the consolidated fund. How many of you even know what the consolidated fund is? Signatories, I know say one there. I know say one know what go on. If you know what the consolidated fund, or if you don't know what the consolidated fund is, drop a 2 in the chat. If you don't know what the consolidated fund is, drop a 2 in the chat. Where's the 1-1? All right. So I hope Chief Justice, who was asking about the Constitution, is still here. Here we're going to make a quick reference to the Constitution. This is a consolidated edition, right? And we're going to take a look at what the Constitution says about the consolidated fund. We have finance. Here we go. Section 114 of the Constitution, Order in Council 1962. What does it say? The consolidated fund. There shall be in and for Jamaica. When I let me just read it for the verse, because I know there's some newcomers there. So we're not going to stuck on this. There shall be in and for Jamaica a consolidated fund, into which, subject to the provisions of any law for the time being in force in Jamaica, shall be paid all revenues of Jamaica. So this is literally the bank account for the Corporation of Jamaica. That is the consolidated fund, ladies and gentlemen. It is right there in the Constitution. See? All right. So, if the National Water Commission defaults on a loan that it takes from the Minister of Finance, then the Minister of Finance can satisfy that loan out of the consolidated fund. Imagine that. Anyways, we're not going to stop this off. Section 9.3. The Commission shall make to the Accountant General at such time and in such manner as the Minister responsible for finance may direct, payments of such amount as may be so directed in or towards repayment of any sums issued in fulfillment of any guarantee under this section, and payments of interest on what is outstanding for the time being in respect of any sum so issued at such rate as the Minister may direct, and different rates of interest may be directed as respects different sums and as respects interest for different periods. Basically, what they must say is that the Minister I go guarantee the payment of the loan, and then them I got charge back NWC over time, whatever them feel like is a fair interest rate, basically. Section 10. All monies of the Commission not immediately required to be expended in the meeting of any obligations or the performance of any functions of the Commission may be invested in such securities as may be approved either generally or specifically by the Minister. This is why they talk about interest rates, because when they take uno money, they might invest it in a securities. Let me repeat that. This the actor say, I know me I say it. The act says the money where them have left over after them do what them supposed to do and pay everybody, they invest it in securities. So they might make money upon the money where they might collect. All right. Specifically, So it's them are investing in securities as may be approved either generally or specifically by the minister responsible for finance, and the commission may, with approval of that minister, sell all or any of such securities. So the minister of finance is the one that is investing these funds, and they can choose to sell all or some of the securities after, I guess, the closing period for that fiscal year or the financial year. Anyways, we're not going to get into that right now. Section 11. All rates and charges imposed by the Commission for water sold by the Commission in bulk or direct to customers and for the services rendered by the Commission shall be so fixed. What does fixed mean? Does fixed mean changing? Does fixed mean it can be an alternate number? Fixed usually means stationary, right? Shall be so fixed that taking 1 year with another, the revenue derived in any year by the Commission from such sales and services, together with its revenue, if any, in such year from other sources, will be sufficient and only sufficient. Let me read like a section there again. Taking 1 year with another. You see, because these old acts of parliament are be a run-on sentence, may have to read it in a chunks so that you get what I want. So please bear with me. I am going to break it down. But you have to hear what it is they are writing in parliament. Okay? Because this was actually updated. I don't know why they keep the old dates, but they have updated this act. Anyways, taking 1 year with another, meaning they are supposed to calculate from 1 year to the next. The revenue derived in any year by the Commission from such sales and services, together with its revenue, if any, in such year from other sources, will be sufficient and only sufficient, as nearly as might be, to pay all remunerations, allowances, salaries, gratuities, working expenses, and other ongoings of the Commission properly chargeable to income in that year, including the payments falling to be made in such year by the Commission, in respect of the interest on or repayment of the principal of any money borrowed by the Commission and provision for the redemption of securities issued by the Commission under this Act. I'm going to explain. Please bear with me. And such sums as the Commission may think proper to set aside in that year for reserve fund, expansions, extensions, renewals, depreciations, loans, and other like purposes. What a run-on sentence they mean? I'm going to show you something. Who ready for the next gem? Drop a 1 in the chat. We're getting there. We're going to get to one of the most incredible gems that you missed. Who ready for the breakdown of the next gem? So you see when time after this live, I would not be surprised if you hear announcements as early as tomorrow. I would not. I mean, people on the live can tell you. You see, sometimes when I cover these lives in detail and the agents are listening, they are taking notes. So by tomorrow, you might hear something about this. We say, one love ready to go? All right, ready up. It says, anything what the Commission make from sales and services together with its revenue. Right? So, we all know, or we should know what revenue is. Revenue is what you make after expenses, right? So when you sell, when you offer services, when you do all those things, whatever is left over is your revenue. Right? Money where you make. Alright. So it say, after sales and service together with its revenue, in such year from other sources will be sufficient, right? So they're only supposed to be doing what is sufficient for the running of the corporation. And here is where they explain that. They say it will be sufficient and only sufficient. So if we did miss the part where it say you should only make sufficient money, based on last year, this year, you're supposed to set the rates so that you only make what is necessary to run the corporation. Let me say that again. Them supposed to look on last year, look on the year before, and see how much it takes to run the corporation. And they should only charge enough that is sufficient to run the corporation. And only sufficient as nearly as might be, right? So you round it off to the closest number where you can come to say, okay, this is what is needed to run the corporation. And to show you this is what they mean, what does it say after that? To pay all remunerations, allowances, salaries, working expenses, gratuities, and other ongoings of the commission. So they might tell you it is not a profit-making corporation. It is a corporation for public benefit. And on me say so. We are read it. It says you should only collect from those sources which is sufficient and only sufficient so that you can pay for these things. So the question is, when was the last time the NWC shows how much money it is making and where that money goes? When was the last time we see actual data of how much money the NWC brought in? How much the rate is? How much they charge the corporate bodies? How much they charge the locals? When last we see anything like that? Maybe somebody see it, but me not see it yet. Have you ever seen a report showing how much NWC make? So people, and we did not even get to the part of the matter about prohibition order is a law. We not get this yet. We just talk about what them supposed to are doing at the first place. They are mandated to be improving and developing water resources every single year. Apart from them building up dam, apart from them building a reservoir, me never hear about no NWC development. Apart from them digging up road, when time new road are built, or when time pipe bust, me no hear nothing about water commission. Me no know about UNO, you know. Me never hear about no report of being submitted to parliament or to the minister. Listen, I am hoping to be a beacon of light. I am just shining the light on the darkness. Me no want me nobody nightmare. No, sir. But if I saw, the truth is the truth. It's not me coming up with it. I them write it so they can't get mad when time somebody see what they write, say. They cannot get upset. You wrote these things, so you are supposed to follow the rules. You're not exempt. Son God, lawful greetings. Welcome. We never go talk about Gazette because that is one of the things that, first of all, why is the Gazette private? Where is the online publishings of the Gazette? Why isn't it made public notice so everybody can see one was in there and one was signed? Because enough of these things that we are read, it don't have no signature on it. No signature. Just one big block of a document. So people, if the National Water Commission is going to charge a fee, it must be the fee necessary to cover the running of the National Water Commission. That is it. They are not allowed to charge a fee. Now, I am going to say something, but this is for those who are advanced. Okay? I want to say on one, James. You see, let us see here. You notice how 11 started. It says all rates and charges imposed by the Commission for water sold by the Commission in bulk or direct to customers. Who is a customer? Are you a customer? I doubt they would define it. You say you're new here? I am not saying they are illegally charging people. However, if they have been charging people all of this money when they did not need to do so as required by the Act, everyone is required to get a refund. Everybody has a refund. So if you notice, the Act does not give a definition for the word customer. Did you know that you are not a customer? Why do we say this? Why do we say that we are not customers? Let us go back to the starting, because we don't have to pay attention, What does it say here? It says, there shall be established a body to be called the National Water Commission. So they want to make sure it is clear that you are understanding what it means by a body to be called the National Water Commission. So they further define it. They say, which shall be a body corporate, right? So they say, so now it is a corporation. But this is not a normal corporation, because if you go to the National Registry, you will not find a registration for the National Water Commission, right? Does anyone know why you would not find a registration document or registration listing for the National Water Commission with the Registrar's Office? Who knows why? I got 15 seconds. Is that trust? Nope. National Service? Nope, not necessarily. Non-profit corporation? Nope. It specifically says revenue, so it is getting a profit. Because they are not registered. That's the question. Why wouldn't we find it in the actual registrar's office? It's not about company. Nope. We're not think too far. It is right next to the definition, which shall be a body corporate with perpetual succession. That means that it cannot expire. Right? Right. Once the government exists, it specifically states here, with perpetual succession. So that means it does not have a start and it doesn't have an end. I mean, it begins here, but it does not have an expiration like a normal corporation when you register it. Right? It is a corporation, but it has perpetual succession without any interference. So, this is not a regular normal corporation. On top of that fact, you can never be a customer of this kind of corporate body because ready? We're ready. Once the government ends every 5 years, they should be reestablishing the corporation. Nope, not necessarily. Not under the colonial system. The reason you cannot be, let us bring it up. Let us bring it up again. You can never be a customer because you are also a corporation. Who remember that? Who remember the Local Governance Act Section 5(2)? As I go? Who remember? How can you be a customer of the same organization? It's just like somebody in your house and you have one fridge. You got to charge somebody for going in your fridge to get something? Does that make any sense? I mean, you can, but it is abnormal, right? So you can never be a customer. The customers would be someone or something that is foreign to the corporation. And you are not foreign to the corporation. That is correct. You are investors and shareholders of the National Water Commission. Now remember what we just read a while ago? Remember we just read in a section 9? What does it say? What does it say? The repayment of principal and payment and interest charges. They tell you about all the investments, you know. You just never connected the dots. Anyways, as we have seen here, they are, even if, come you know everybody now go get pandat the bandwagon there. Even if they want to claim that, no, you are regular customers. You are individual customers. Okay, fine. Show me the report of how much money the commission made in 2024. Let us see how much money is made, how much was paid in salaries, how much was paid in gratuities, how much was paid in all of these things, and how much money was left over. Let us see that. We need to see all of the books. And if the books cannot be found, then the commission is going to have to owe everybody their current rate of, whatever rate of charge you have now, the commission have to pay that from the time you're born until now. Every single month they have to pay you back that. If you don't have the books to show, then you have to pay the nominal rate that you are charging. That is to be refunded, because I am almost certain they are not following this crap. I am almost certain. You know what is me say? Me not say me 100% certain, you know, because me don't have the actual data to show. Me don't have the data to show, but I can almost be certain, because they no ramp for charge people, you know. That's one thing me know. Once the meter run, you know, you know for sure. Whatever the National Water Commission is charging. And remember, you know, the National Water Commission is not a very big corporation, you know. They don't need a large staff. So all of the money where them make so far, if it go over what them supposed to make just to keep the commission going, them have to return all of that money. They have to return every penny. They are not supposed to be making a profit and doing anything else with it. If anything, they should be running short. That is why the minister is authorized to give loans to them. If them are run short, them supposed to go to the minister and get money out of the consolidated fund and pay it back. So if they make any kind of profit overage, it has to go back to regular salaries, allowances, and all them something there. So anyways, just dropping the gems. G4 say, my mind is blown, but who is keeping the National Water Commission accountable? If nobody is bringing them to court, then they are going to basically just run free. All right, so we're going to bring up those that are in the box. TikTok police, you're up. All right, look like a fat finger. Who else is coming up? Fire 505, you're up. Fire 505. All right, fire not ready yet. Who else is there? Chopper Reed, you're up. All right, look like Chopper Reed gone. So, that is where we start. The law clearly states that they should not be making a profit beyond what is necessary to run the corporation. So, let us see what else that section says. This is 11.1. 11.2 says, the rates and charges under this section may, if the commission thinks fit, be fixed on a different scales for different localities. Right? So them can charge different rates to different localities. Right? Where the rates, charges, and fees prescribed pursuant to section 19 are inapplicable, nothing in this section shall prevent the commission from charging by special agreement other rates, charges, and fees. So it's a special agreement. 4. It shall be lawful for the commission to meet payments of interest falling due in any year from money borrowed, whilst the expenditure out of such monies remains unremunerative for such period and subject to such conditions as the minister may determine. So these are just fancy financial terms to say that them can borrow while them still have debt. right? Or in a future earnings. So I'm talking about sewage, where the commission constructs, extends, or operates any sewage system. The commission may, by a written notice served on the owner or occupier of any premises within the area where such sewage system is available, require him within such reasonable period as the commission may determine, being not less than the prescribed period, to have his premises connected to such sewer system by such means in accordance with such specifications as the commission may approve, and impose, with the approval of the minister, a sewage rate on the premises. Me not think me ever even hear about NWC creating a network of sewage system anywhere. Probably in the corporate area, but I have never actually heard of this. You see, the provisions are there for them to create sewage systems, you know. But I have not heard of any connected sewage system for anywhere, really. Maybe it's there. I don't know. Lawful Justin, welcome. Today we're talking about the National Water Commission and the National Water Commission Act. Right? Now, let us talk about this prohibition order, right? Let us go down here, so, because it is actually not, there is nothing in the act itself that talks about a prohibition order. It is actually the regulation, right? But I wanted to share this section with you. Are the NWC financial statements public? I highly doubt that. Only place sewer systems are in Lower Kingston and Downtown Kingston. That's what I'm saying, most likely in the corporate area. But I have never seen them built out any sewer system anywhere else, which is what they should be doing. Is it JPS next? I kind of want to stay away from JPS, but if the request is there, we can cover it. Liability for improper expenditure. Remember we talked about this earlier? Section 15.1. In the event of expenditure of any funds of the Commission contrary to the provisions of this Act, or without due authority, the amount thereof shall be recoverable from any person or persons appointed or employed to or by the Commission and incurring or purporting to authorize such expenditure, and any such person shall be jointly and severally liable in that behalf. Do you know what this means? This means that everybody who spend money where them not supposed to spend or get money where them not supposed to get, not only is the Commission liable, these people are personally also liable. So, them bank account can literally run dry based on that dishonesty. Any liability under this section may be enforced by an action of debt at the time of suit of a public officer designated by the minister for the purpose, and any monies recovered in any such action shall be carried to the credit of such of the Commission's account as the minister may direct. So this is actually talking about where the minister or there is a public officer suit of the Commission. So up here, so they have a private suit, and down here, so them have a public suit by the government itself. They see them delete section 16 by the Act of 2003. Right? So here's what they talk about annual report. I hate seeing this word, but annual report, because why they can't just show us the data? Why them a tell we for them summary in our report? Anyways, the Commission shall, within 5 months after the end of each financial year, or within such further time as may be in special circumstances be allowed by the minister, cause to be made and transmit to the minister a report detailing generally with the activities of the commission during that financial year and containing such information related to the proceeding and policy of the commission as can be made public without detriment to the interest of the commission. So you see, this little contingency yaso, what they must say, they can disclose in a report. This have to cover them behind. They can disclose in a report the workings of what happened in the financial year, except anything that would cause detriment to the interest of the commission. So that no means say any of them a thief and lie, then can hide it. Because that would be detrimental to the commission, don't. This is why you don't request reports. You request the actual ledger or the data. This is a clear example of why you don't do that. I do not trust nobody's report. I don't care for the Auditor General himself. Show us the data. You see, this thing about reports, they make it so popular. So you think that that is the only option. But you see, someone who is in the field, you will know that a report is created from data. We don't want no report. Show us the ledger where the monies are deposited and the monies are taken out, and show us the expenditure and the actual data. It's that simple. Me no need if you interpret it for me. Me will use my common sense and look what I go on. Because when it comes down to the court, I am pretty sure whoever the court designates to oversee the matter, they are going to be competent enough to look at a balance sheet and look at a ledger and see what is going on. The minister shall cause a copy of the report together with the annual statement of accounts and the auditor's report thereon and on the accounts to be laid on the table of the House of Representatives and Senate. No bubble bubble, exactly. The Auditor General is appointed by the Governor General. Exactly. All right. Let me show one of the other reasons why we don't trust these individuals. I'm going to show you the reason why. If you go down close to the end, let me see if they have it in this one. Resignations, commission. I didn't move it. Hold on there. Let us see what is at the end of this. Okay. Then move it around. All right, let us look at the original act because that one doesn't have it. I'm going to show you why we don't trust these things. This is the Jamaica Order in Council 1962, for those who don't know. If you scroll close to the end of this document, this is page 162 of page 164. These are the oaths that the public officials take. Okay? So, you have the oath of allegiance at the top, which all of them take. You have the oath of the Prime Minister or Minister or Parliamentary Secretary. And in this specific oath, it specifically says that they have no obligation to reveal any business or proceedings of the Cabinet or the nature of any of the documents communicated to them. So, that means that they can choose to give you information or they can choose to not disclose that information. If you know what, I can read it, for those newcomers who are wondering what we're talking about and if it is actually true. You know, I'm read to one of the oath what the minister them have to take. When I tell you we are still in a colonial system, some people are wondering if I am really talking the truth. So this is the oath the ministers have to take before they enter office. I, whatever the minister's name is, being appointed Prime Minister, Minister, or Parliamentary Secretary, do swear that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times when so required, freely give my counsel and advice to the Governor General, or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office, for the good management of the public affairs of Jamaica. And I do further swear that I will not, on any account, at any time whatsoever, disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any particular minister or parliamentary secretary, and that I will not, except with the authority of the cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Jamaica, directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister, parliamentary secretary, or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister. So help me God. So, again, this is a public document. I am not showing you anything that is secret. You can literally go to Google and type in Jamaica Constitution, Order and Council 1962. And you can come up to this document, just like I have, and you can see it on page 162. They swear an oath not to tell you the truth or reveal anything in any documents. So, this is why we always say, demand the data. You cannot trust reports. After all those swearing, one go back on their word. Who that? Who go back on their word? So anyways, never ever trust a report because they can put in it whatever they want, right? And they swore an oath not to disclose anything that they discuss or in any document with anyone other than the commission, which you are not a part of the commission or the cabinet, right? The minister has the power to give policy directions. They didn't swear to you, they did it for the crown. Exactly. And if you notice, and again, we talked about this before, in all of these oaths that are being sworn, it is an oath to Jamaica. Are you Jamaica? No. You can never be Jamaica. Even all of us combined, we are not Jamaica. We can never be a corporate name. We can never be a country. Okay? Together, we are called a body of people. We can be a nation, but we cannot be a country. A name is property. And as we know, slavery was abolished, so we're not going to go there. So anyways, the minister can give them direction to do whatever it is that he deems necessary. Right? But let us go to the regulations. And apparently they said it was section 14, I believe. Right? Section 14 of the regulations. And again, this regulation does not have a signature. It does not have the Governor General's assent. Jamaica have a lot of assets to give back to the nation. So no loyalty to the Jamaican people, full stop. The people are not described anywhere in any legislation. So no, absolutely not. So we do not see any authorizing signature here from the Crown Agent. So we don't even know if this is a properly enacted act. Anyways, let's not stop there. Section 14 is where they said that they have the authority to issue orders. Right? So let us see what section 14 says of the regulations, National Water Commission regulations. 14.1. Where there is a deficiency in the supply of water owing to a drought or other cause, the Commission may, by notice, prohibit, either absolutely or subject to such conditions as may be specified, for such period as may be necessary or expedient, the use of water supply by or obtained through the pipes of the Commission for irrigation of watering gardens, lawns, and grounds, filling or supplying tanks, ponds, baths, swimming pools, blah, 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 blah. Watering or washing roadways, pavements, garages, blah, blah, blah. Any purpose which in the opinion of the Commission may require the use of a considerable or excessive quantity of water. All right, so it's a where there is a deficiency in the supply of water owing to drought or other cause, they can, by notice, prohibit your use of the water, right? They can prohibit your use of the water. Now, the question here is, it is saying that the Commission can issue a notice to prohibit. Is a notice law? Is a notice law? Does anyone know if a notice is a law? Because the last time I checked, in order for something to become a law, it has to go through a specific process. But let us not stop there, right? They say the Commission may by notice prohibit, absolutely or subject to conditions, right? I still have not seen that prohibition order. I still haven't seen it. And I searched for it the other day, and I have not seen any public document. I looked on the legal portal, I didn't see it. Anyways, 14.2. Every notice under paragraph 1 shall specify the date on which the prohibition takes effect, right? And every such notice shall be published in the Gazette, and for not less than 4 days preceding the date upon which such prohibition takes effect, in a daily newspaper. So it has two conditions. Well, three. One, it has to be published in the Gazette. So it has to go through the parliamentary procedure. It has to be signed off on, and it has to go in the Gazette. Secondly, 4 days before it goes into effect, it has to be published in a daily newspaper. Has anyone seen it in the newspaper, this prohibition order? And you see, why isn't the Gazette sufficient? Why did they say put it in the daily newspaper? Because the Gazette is private. It is not publicly accessible like any other media source. For whatever reason, I don't know. Anyways, Section 3. 14.3. While such prohibition is in effect, no person shall use or cause or permit to be used any water supplied by or obtained from the pipes of the Commission for any of the purposes specified in such notice. Any person who contravenes this regulation is guilty of an offense and liable on summary conviction before a resident magistrate to a fine not exceeding $1,000 or in default of payment thereof to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 30 days. So let us pause here for a second. It is saying that someone who violates this regulation, right? I want to bring your attention to something here. Does anyone notice anything in here that is rather strange? It says, any person who contravenes this regulation is guilty of an offense and liable on summary conviction before a resident magistrate to a fine not exceeding $1,000 or in default of payment thereof to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 30 days. They might charge more than $1,000. So the last news story I heard was that they were working on changing the law so that the fine is more steep to deter people from doing that, right? How can one be charged for violating the regulation when the notice is not lawful? You're close. What do you mean by the notice is not lawful? You're getting warmer. Good thing I am not a person. There you go. Civil and criminal jurisdiction mix up. That is correct. So they needed to have that by law before providing the service. They needed to have what? No public notice. Not been passed in Parliament. Well, they are claiming that the regulation was passed in Parliament in 1985. We just don't have a gazetted copy or a copy that was signed by the Governor General, as is required of any so-called regulation or act. I haven't seen that. Who is ready for gem number X? Because at this point, I don't even know how much we've gotten so far. Last gem of the night. Who is ready for the last gem? Drop a 1 in the chat. Make TikTok know say we're still there. Make TikTok know say we're still there on the live. So the basket still have space? Ready for more gems? Or no one yam? Gems or yam? Which one? Because this one, like I said, after this live is complete, I would not be surprised if tomorrow you hear announcement about they are going to suspend this order. They are not going to enforce it just yet. Blah, blah, blah. The same way the last time when them talk about demerit points and I went on the live and I talk about the discrimination that they would face, the discrimination suits they would face if they proceeded about no demerit points foolishness. But anyways, I think we have enough ones in the chat. Let us uncover what is under the feathers here. It says, this is section 14.4. Any person who contravenes This regulation is guilty of an offense and liable on summary conviction before a resident magistrate to a fine not exceeding. Where does it state here that anyone who contravenes a notice, anyone who contravenes an order, anyone who contravenes something that has not been passed through Parliament and assented into law by the Governor General? You see, it is tricks of the trade. It clearly states you have to violate or contravene the regulation. An order is not a part of the regulation. Correct me if I am wrong. Correct me if I am wrong. 333 LT, you're up. Gems in the basket. 333. All right, look like a fat finger. Where does it state that orders can be contravened and prosecuted on summary conviction? Where does it state that? You see, NWC does not have lawmaking power. A notice cannot be law. That is number one. The government cannot publish a notice and say it is law. It has to go through the lawful process, which is to go through deliberation in Parliament, get proposed, get to the minister and the House and Senate, whoever, come to their agreement, finish drafting the document, get it over to the Governor General. Governor General look it over with advice about what it is about, sign it, publish it in the Gazette, and then it becomes law. Where does the commission get that power from? It cannot. If it does pass a prohibition order, it can only be within that corporation. It cannot dictate to the public arbitrarily. If they enforce an order, that would mean that the National Water Commission would have the power to create law as it sees fit. It would be acting as though it is the crown. It would be acting as a sovereign. And it certainly is not. It is a creature of law. It was created by an act. It is still a corporation. So it certainly does not have any inherent powers. All of its powers are delegated. All right, 333, no problem. So therefore, a prohibition order is literally unenforceable. Unenforceable. If it is challenged, let me say that much. If it is challenged, a prohibition order is unenforceable. And if the police aids in such an endeavor, they become jointly and severally liable. What does it say in the National Water Commission Act? What does it say about enforcing the act without authority or in a way that it's not supposed to? Wait there. I think we pass it up here, so. Liability for improper expenditure. Well, it's in the event of the expenditure of any funds of the commission contrary to the public. So this specifically talk about spending, right? Without due authority, the amount thereof shall be recoverable from any person or person appointed by the commission and incurring or purporting to authorize such expenditure. So this actually doesn't give Yeah, this is about expenditure. But if the police goes with NWC to someone's property to enforce this so-called regulation, talking about a notice that was published, they are going to be in a lot of hot water, because that notice could never be law. Never. Here is another problem too. You see, if we have smart attorneys, that have cases like this that come up, the first thing they would do is bring up the requirement that is given in the National Water Commission Act under the function and duties. Where is it shown that the commission has been exercising its function mandated by the National Water Commission Act? Have they been issuing proposals for the establishment of an efficient and coordinated and economical water supply system? Have they been preparing and submitting to the minister details and schemes for development of water resources and supply of water in particular areas? Have they keep under constant review the quality, reliability, and availability of water supply services over the years since it was established? Have they been doing these things? And if they have been doing these things, provide the evidence to show that. Because if you are going to enforce a so-called prohibition order because of drought or any kind of other deficiencies in water supply, you need to show that you have been doing your job, and this has nothing to do with your job. Show us that you have been doing what the act says you're supposed to do, and then we can talk about someone so-called violating prohibition order. Because then can't win none of them. They don't have a leg and footing to stand on. Maybe they have it, but we have not seen it in the public. From me born, me never hear say NWC had developed any water resources at all. Maybe people have seen it. Maybe others have not. I have never heard them saying they are digging wells. I have never heard that they are building reservoirs for areas that have low water. I have never heard it. The most I have heard is that someone says like the MP for an area would buy water at some period in time and provide to certain areas. That's all I have heard as it concerns NWC. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if them retract that foolishness about prohibition order. Because under this act and the regulations, any competent attorney would beat them left, right, and center. God's chosen vessel say, like in St. Anne, no water main is there. We have to buy water. Well, you want one more gem? God's chosen vessel. People, you see anybody who don't have water, did you know you can sue the NWC for failing to carry out their statutory mandate? It is a requirement for them to provide water throughout the island. It never say in a this community. It never say in a that community. It never said this your place here or that the place here. What it say? Let us read what it says. It says, subject to the provisions of this act, it shall be the function of the commission. It shall be, it must be the function of the commission to prepare and submit to the minister from time to time proposals for the establishment of an efficient, coordinated, and economical water supply system capable of meeting the needs for water throughout the island. Did you know that you can name the National Water Commission and the Minister of Finance and sue them for not providing water in wherever you live? You can. It is the law. They have violated the law. Yes, they will become defendants. Just like how them say, if you break the law, you have to answer in the courts. It goes for everybody. This is what the law says you're supposed to do, and you have not done it, and I am harmed. I have to be buying water. I have to be buying water. I have to be doing this. I have to be doing that. Talk Sweet says you can try, but it won't work. I see you're new here. Welcome. See, we don't talk about hypotheticals here. We don't talk about what may or may not work. If you think it won't work, then you are right. You don't have to look any further now. But you see, over here, we only speak lawfully. We don't talk about things that should work. We talk about things that we can prove, things that we can show. And when people come to class, they learn better and do better. Yeah, man, for those who think it will not work, well, obviously from your limited perspective, it will look that way, right? But there are always solutions. Always solutions. You may not know what they are because you don't come to class. So you are looking at it from a layman's perspective. But for those who come to class, yeah, they will know. Remember, there are a lot of factors to mitigate if you know not to have in water. It's funny bad cause rain water to wash, buy water to cook, and then buy different water for drinking. You see, if most people did it, wouldn't NWC go broke, or the government would supply the funds when they lose? You see, when the government creates a corporation, the government is responsible for the corporation. That is why if you sue any arm of the government or any agent in their official capacity, you have to notify the Attorney General. If you look at any court case, for those of you who actually do your homework or you come to class, you will notice on any suit against the state, the Attorney General is listed. Because the Attorney General represents the crown, it represents the government. Any official capacity, the Attorney General will defend for the state. Okay? So if it is that you sue the state and you win, then the state pays, right? It comes from the consolidated fund. You get a bank transfer or you get a check, right? Tax Suite says you can sue NWC, but it won't work. What won't work? And you can, by all means, you can come up in the box, if you want to explain. All right, King Kong, you're up. But you see, again, your perspective of, oh, it won't work, that is not how we operate over here. Okay? And I am sure there are many who can attest that we don't go by opinions.
Hey, hi. Like just passing like a program. Good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
Yeah, I'm here to learn too, but typically you cannot sue them just like that and get through. What has been established through OUR, Officers Utility Regulation, I think, yeah, you can apply to them. Once NWC breaches their standard JPS, the cell phone companies, utility companies breach their regulation, you make contact with OUR for compensation. That's in the OUR Act that govern all the utilities. That's why they put in that, because you can't sue NWC if a broken main happen and you can't get water, drought. Sometimes be a damn negligence of NWC. Because to me, a bigger picture, I blame every successive government in Jamaica for the water problem we're having now. In my opinion, Jamaica has never seen a drought. We just have a water management problem.
So hold on, man. We are going through too much topic.
But we're not go through too much. But me go back to OUR. Elaborate on that. It's there in OUR regulation. Once there's a breach, you go to OUR. If you try sue NWC can tell you the pump broke down. See me? We don't have enough truck to bring water. You're not gonna get through that. So you go OUR, and because right now there are millions of dollars out there for Jamaicans through all the utility company, but because somehow we don't know how to do it.
Listen.
For breaches.
Hold on a second. You are going too fast.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. If I have a breach of rights, are you saying that I cannot sue NWC?
Of course you can sue them, but there's a mechanism already set up for that.
I will say you are categorically wrong.
Of course, I say yes, you can sue them. NWC have you see that law, that regulation, what you read. I'm certain there are more. I'm not certain, but I assume there are more bylaws there that will protect NWC.
What is the highest law in the nation?
Constitution.
Okay. So if there is a constitutional breach and I am claiming a constitutional breach, do I have to go through the OUR?
Are you saying
yes,
NWC, an act created by the Constitution? Is that what you're saying?
No, I am saying to you, if I have a claim that the NWC or agents thereof has violated a constitutionally protected right, are you saying that I must go through the OUR to make that claim?
First of all, you have to explain what is that constitutional right.
I never said constitutional right. I said a constitutionally protected right.
Fine. What is that constitutionally protected right? Let me learn.
It doesn't matter which one it is. I am saying, let's say one exists, that there is a right protected under the Charter of Rights, Section 13.
All right.
What are you
Remember
saying?
now, we are focusing NWC. You made some
Right.
statement, and I say you can try, but I need for you to
No.
tell me if it is a constitutional right to get water through NWC.
I am not talking about simply getting water.
Explain to me. I want to learn.
That is, you see, you want me to get into specifics now that I ask you
No, but
relevant
once you
question.
bring up, come on now, 876. Once you talk about a constitutional protected right, I need to know what is that right in respect of NWC.
But all right, let me ask you a question.
Listen.
I am going to answer you now. I am going to answer you. Don't worry about that part. But
Okay.
the first thing you brought with you was that you cannot directly sue a utility. It is going to be redirected back to the OUR. That's what you
No,
said.
I never said that. I said it won't work.
All right, you say it won't work. What evidence do you have of that?
That's an assumption from me. It won't work. It won't work because NWC, I don't know what I'm speaking here. Assumption. The act NWC, I believe it protect itself. And
that's what I was just reading.
NWC protect itself in the act. That's my opinion. And there's no constitutional right to pipe water.
Okay. Well, you see, until we can talk on a factual basis, I don't think this discussion is going to be very fruitful because, like you said...
Yeah, but I think you would have, because I tell you, I come to learn. I have assumption.
Right,
okay?
but you see, that's why I say I wanted to come up, because we have to talk on a factual basis. We can't say, well, I think this or I think that. That's why I put things on the screen.
Yeah, but I understand, and that's the reason why I come up, because I see you have the act reading from,
and the regulation,
and that's just just one section. See me? But I think that act is a vast act.
No, it is not. It is 27 pages.
Okay.
It is 27 pages. It's not a vast act. What you mean? See it there? I'll bring it up.
Yeah, man. May I see? But the question I want to ask you, is there a constitutional right to get water from NWC? Would it be a breach of your civil right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Do we not? Let me ask you a question. Do we not have a right to life? Yes or no?
Yeah, that's what me hear them say.
All right. So if I am claiming that I have a right to have water at my location, and NWC has failed to provide water at my location, where are you going to tell me, sir?
I do not think it is a right. You don't have a right to water.
Okay. So can someone live without water?
You can get it yourself too.
Can someone live without water?
NWC only... If someone... No, I won't get... Come on. Those nice fundamental question. But that's another issue. We all know what...
No. That is...
Both of us know that answer. The thing is this. A right to something. Yes, you talk about life. And if you want to throw in where the US would say pursuit of happiness, whatever.
All right. Hold on.
Bring it up.
let us take a look at what the charter says. Wait, say we have a right to. Section 13.3a.
Yeah, it talk. Let me get it right. Read it. The right to life, liberty, security of person, right not to be deprived thereof, except in the execution of the the sentence of a court in respect of a criminal offense.
Okay.
Deprive hold on, the right to life, liberty, security of the person and the right not to be deprived thereof. That's and the right not to deprive thereof is in respect of the right to life, liberty, and security.
Okay.
That's what it is saying. You are not to be deprived
Okay.
of that. And you are saying, yes, you have a right. So you have a right to life. So if the supermarket not no food, you can sue them too?
The difference is
Private and government?
No. Let me answer your question. The difference is simple. Everybody has to go out and get food. It's that simple. Does everybody have to go out and get water?
No, because you can have a pan, river, stream, something on your property.
All right. Now, the other thing is, does the supermarket have a law that says that they must provide water throughout the entire island? Or provide food for the entire island?
Nope.
That is what the National Water Commission Act says.
And you are implying then that you have a right to be supplied with water.
Based on what the law says, yes.
No, it's not a right. It's not a right.
Listen what I am saying. I have a right to life. Water is required for life. The government made a law to provide water throughout the island. It says it right here in section 4.1a. That is what I am saying. So what are you saying?
Yeah.
Where are you now? Me show you the NWC Act.
It shall be the function of the NWC to prepare and submit to the minister from time to time proposal for the establishment of an efficient, coordinated, and economical water supply system capable of meeting the needs for water throughout the island. Yeah. There's no right there for an individual.
All right, no
right.
problem. All right.
I don't read it as that.
No problem. Okay, so we just agree to disagree then. That's cool.
Before I came up, I did a little Google. See me? Google, and a lot of people reject Google if it don't talk in their manner. I don't have a second device. But the first thing Google says, no. And then, you remember when I came up, I started to talk about OUR. So Google said no. What you can do is use OUR and get compensation for the breach. Okay? It is a breach of NWC regulation. All the utility, it's a breach.
Sir, you are talking
service.
You talk from AI perspective. And I can beat AI 100%. Because AI, especially Google, in case you don't know, Google is specifically there to provide you with an answer, regardless if it is right or wrong.
I should have looked at the source. That's
Right.
what I didn't look at. The source. No. I'm not the person to blame the provider. Remember, when Google answer you look down at the bottom of that little first paragraph. It gives you a source, and
Yeah,
that's what I never looked at. I never look at the source that I could jump off Google now and go to the source. You get me? But nobody have a right to water.
Okay.
See me? The act
All
is
right.
there. The act is there. In my opinion,
Right.
NWC failed to then pipe the water in your yard, and you never get no pipe water before. It is
Yeah,
a
well,
regulation. I believe you can get compensation. Don't get me wrong,
listen, me
But
can't go further in an opinion. I get the message. We have to stick to the facts. So the fact that we don't have
yeah,
anything further to discuss as far as facts is concerned, respect your opinion same way, but we just can't go down
yeah,
opinion road.
yeah, understandable. I'm gonna do a little research more on it, but to say this, where are you going with it? What's the bigger picture?
There's no bigger picture. I was just showing people what the law says. That's it.
And because it's the first I'm seeing your program, basically.
I figured.
Is there any leaning anywhere?
No.
Remember your words, because I'll sit and watch the people over my fence on you from time to time.
Anytime you're ready. Anytime.
I have seen so many persons. I'm independent. And now,
all right,
they're
tell you
either
what.
staunch labor right or staunch PMP defending.
Ask the people in the chat.
Which is your
and you will
right.
see. Ask the people in the chat.
No. Don't. It's not a matter of being against anything. It is your right to the stance you have right now, and it is your right if later on you wanna come out with something else purporting to be supporting what.
Can I ask something? Can I ask, because the gentleman seemed to be going on and on.
Yeah, man, I just took him down. No disrespect
Yeah.
still, but I did have to take him down. Him not stop talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Navi, go ahead.
You kind of want to make it political. As much as you're trying to say, you're just doing something for the benefit of people. But
Right.
I have a question. Yes, I understand the argument about right to life, and you want to equate it with right to water. And you said you're showing the act, actually.
The Charter of Rights.
Okay, so do you think what that act says is that the government must provide water for everybody in Jamaica? Do you think that's what the act says?
No.
Oh, because some people is going to go away with that.
No, what I was showing was that there are more than one ways to make a claim. He was saying that if you are going to, for example, sue the NWC, it would not go anywhere, meaning it would be impossible to get that remedy in court. So what I am saying is that is not true. There is always another way. If I said I have a right to life and an attribute of life is water, you cannot live without water, point blank. Right?
Yeah, but NWC does not control all the water available to us.
I agree. But what does the law say they're supposed to do?
From time to time.
No.
Maybe. Yeah, if you read it again, they say where it will provide from time to time, they will make. Read that again.
Let us read what it says. Remember, the first thing we need to remember is that, let us go back up to the top, because I want to make sure this is in context. You see the date of enactment? You see the date?
Okay. Yes. It's
1963.
old. It's old, yes.
Okay. So now, when we read this section 4, the entire section 4, we can't just read just one. All of this So they are to prepare and submit from time to time proposals, right? And these proposals have specific requirements, meaning you need to propose establishment of an efficient, coordinated, and economical water supply system capable of meeting the needs throughout the island, right?
Are they doing that?
That is the question. From
Okay.
1963 until now, are you telling me that there are still areas on the small island of Jamaica without water?
Yeah, but everything works like this, you know. It's what resources we have.
That's
If we
fine.
So if from time to time they improve the water supply to more people, they're doing their job. Maybe
That
it's
is
not. Maybe it's
that is
not
the
to your.
question. So
Okay.
my question is, where is the data to support this?
Well, I can't help you with that personally, but listen, no, but I've seen where the water minister is suggesting a lot of projects, a lot of water projects. You know, rebuilding old pipes that have lost their value or their purpose. I see that go on from time to time. I hear a lot of projects being announced, and I'm telling you, if one man, because in rural Jamaica, there are some houses in some really, you know, extreme areas where I don't think government will be able to get water to them personally by pipe. But and what they do sometimes is provide them with, you know, those black drums. You know, especially when election time come round, they give out drums so that people can collect rainwater. So you know, I think they're making an effort to get water to many as conveniently as possible with the resources they have to a lot of places. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. From 1963 until now, do you think the current state of things that it is sufficient?
To be honest, I think we should be in a better place right now. But I think overall the leadership of this country has failed us, some more than some. And I really do see this government in particular trying to do much better. Because
But hold on,
here's
hold
the
on.
thing. Here's the thing. Like I said, you must have the resources to deliver. If you don't have the resources, they're competing amenities. We want better healthcare. We want a safer community. We want, you know, lower gas price. We want everything, but we can't have everything.
What
You
does
know
that have
that.
to do with NWC?
Everybody's competing with NWC.
No, they're not.
Of
Absolutely not.
course, everybody's
Absolutely not.
competing. Everybody's competing with
Who?
NWC. The Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Security. Everybody, there's not enough money to give to everybody, so everybody's competing for. This is no joke. Why are you laughing? This is not.
Because listen, hold on for a second. Listen. I have to pause here. Have you read this act?
No, I understand what you're saying.
No,
NWC,
I don't think so. I don't think so. Mm-mm.
but
You sound like you just joined the live about 30 minutes ago or less.
yes, that's true. But what I'm saying is, to provide water to everybody, that's kind of impossible right now, you know, brother. When you
All right.
want, we want more we want more hospital beds. We want lower
Listen,
price.
we can't go by opinions. We have to stick to the
I know
topic.
opinion. That is a fact.
No,
Every agency of government is competing for the resources that government is spending.
all right, listen. We have to make somebody else come up because you're off topic. You're way off topic.
It
We
is
went through the
all
entire
right.
thing. Yeah, we have to stay on topic on this one because we're limited on time.
All
All
right.
right.
Yeah,
Respect.
man.
Cool.
Blessed love, my brother. Yes, yes. Blessed love, my brother.
Greetings, Baptist. What go on?
Yeah, man. Let me tell you the problem what we have. And you see, that is the reason why you see it is so hard for us to really reach where we're supposed to reach as a people because the people them is very political. You cannot get the truth out of the people. You were there here tonight, and I do what you do, and the facts is there, If we see say things could have been much better for looking in your make sure you show them the dating.
All right.
And instead of them accept the fact, them a beat round the bushes and there's one thing cause it, my brethren, is politics.
May I tell you?
Politics is the problem, brethren. I don't know what kind of science lit these people in their head make them can't see. Why they can't see? And these people are well educated people.
Exactly.
And them just think it what wrong, my brother? What really wrong with we? What really wrong with we? Make we just think the truth just can't. There is no truth inside of us, brother. There is no truth.
Well, for some people.
For some people. All right, you see in Kingston right now, cashment. You used to have some cashment in a Kingston, right? Just so you know. And what them do? Them dump them up and build up business place pan them way back when. We supposed to have enough cashment in a Kingston. Kingston not supposed to run out of water, You know much water waste every day. And them can't see
Exactly.
simple. Them can't see simple as that. Them can't see simple as that, my brethren. You come now with something to show them the facts, and the facts is there right in front them eye, and them still can't see it.
Are them just don't want to see it. Them want to
Them
distract
don't
it.
want to see it, brother. Them blind, them blind, them lock somewhere about in them lock off, my brother. But anyway, continue with the thing, my brother. Continue with the thing. I say, me watch all the while, I say, brethren, me I tell you, me wish everybody would have just see out. You see, for your eye, them when you see out, if them could have just get half of the glimpse where you are see. If them just could have get half of the glimpse where you are see, because, brother, all the while I watch your program, man, and continue the way I do, my brother, because we must get somewhere with this one at the time. We must get somewhere with it. Continue, do the good work you do, my brother. Little more.
Yeah, man. 100%. Thanks for coming up. Lawful. Hi, Chief.
You would not believe how much me over here laugh.
Yeah, man.
Alright, so listen to this now. I think we did a one here live show the other day when Mr. T said, I have proven that people in this country are so blinded, like them so blind that when the things stand up in front of them still not see it. And they don't see it by choice. They're
Yep.
choosing not to see. They're choosing not to have an objective view. You have the document in front of the bridge and show him, say, listen, this is the law where the said government set out. And I'm going to tell you say, what cannot be done when the law is there looking at it. Looking at you, telling you what should be in place and where the agency supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Look like a connection gone. You did it?
Hold on there. Yeah. My
Yeah.
lives, yeah, you still?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So if you're coming with your opinions, then we can see how a man could have challenged you and say, boy, listen, what you say now make no sense on X, Y, Z.
Right.
And then now the last bridging, not the one who just come out, but the other bridging that will come out and say, he believes that this current government is doing better or trying to do to improve what the situation of the country is. No, that is bullshit. You hear? Let me just say. Because I don't know who them have tried fool. Come out of the political mind frame. What is it going to take for the people to see that the same government don't even care about the same color people who vote for them? What it going to take for them to see that?
But you
The
see,
same people them, we vote for them. Them no business about them, and them still a run back at them. What it going to take for them to see?
but
So,
here's the
Bridget,
thing, right?
yeah, go on.
You see, I don't really talk about, you see, me try if you just stay away from politics.
I
Because
understand, yeah.
me don't really want that kind of attention there. You see me? But the fact of the matter is, politicians can't do anything. The only thing they do is write on paper and talk. That's it. They can't fix a road by themselves. They have to hire people or they have to create a corporation to do it. Them can't run the light themselves. They have to hire a corporation or hire somebody. Everything what that needs to be done in society, they are simply managing the resources. So it no matter which side you choose, the only thing them can do is manage the resources. That's it. So when you matter about this one better, that one better, it's neither here nor there. It's what they choose to do and what they choose not to do.
Yeah, man, but as me say, it's like people so blinded by the reality of the country and what we have to deal with. Me no know what to say. Me no know what to say. But one thing I can say though, stay in the class. If you're new over here, stay in the class. What you will
Right.
learn will give you a frame of mind where you can think objectively and not just go about spewing nonsense as opinions. But you can sit down and talk facts. You get what I say? And
Exactly.
that is what we need. We need, as you keep on stressing, we need the edifying of the people with the come with the right knowledge now or start learn the right things then them will start make a fool of themselves because you come up and you talk about you can't this and you can't that. When you read straight from the thing I tell the bridging, you show him might read it too. You see? You
That's
say,
why, you see,
I just over here laugh.
that's why me make everybody talk first, because I don't want it to seem like me a domineer a conversation. Make your point and make sure you come with evidence because I am going to pull up the evidence that I have.
Exactly. Come with your evidence. Wait there.
Why? I saw it go sometimes still, but me just glad say I know them now report the live tonight.
Yeah, that I good part time. But yeah man, let's go on to the work. You don't know over here same way. I support you 120% same way. Most of my team supposed to dip on the live in the night. So big up on yourself, Dr. Anna, and my personal moderator. She's supposed to over here to big up yourself.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, man.
Lawful. All right. So we have a few more people. All right, Ricardo, you're up next.
Evening.
Evening, Ricardo. Wagwan.
I'm great. No, what we get to realize and understand with our age and our age group is that we will read and even get taught about even the Declaration of Independence somewhat in type school in Jamaica, but we're getting the opinion, not the facts of the teachers. And then we will come out here now as state opinion instead of facts. And we don't take and try to understand and reason with truth. So we come out here and act, and the word is in the word. We're acting, right? We're acting like someone and acting like this and acting like that with false information. you know,
Exactly.
and make us look like fools. So we come out in public now and try do what we need to do as a people, and we don't get nothing done because we were taught wrong, are directed in a way where we're supposed to be controlled. So at the end of the day, I believe that we should think for ourselves and take sense out of nonsense.
Right. I mean, especially if you have the information in front of you, you cannot use opinions.
Yeah.
Right. I could see if it was just a discussion about what we expect or what we think things should be. But when we are talking about facts and when we are talking about things that are immovable, things that are not changeable at the moment, it is something that you can use. You can't come with opinion.
Definitely not. But remember, that's my one. That's my 1-2 there.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself. Thanks for coming up. All right. Let's see who's next. I got 2 more. All right, Rowan, you're up.
The movie A-Team with Mr. T.
Yeah, Rowan.
Yeah, you not hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You remember the movie with Mr. T, the A-Team?
Yeah.
What was his main line?
So we remember.
I pity the fool. What's your opinion why they say they give us a story that we was in slavery for 400 years. What's your opinion why we stayed there? Why you think why we stay in slavery for 400 years?
Boy, there are so many answers to that question, but
What
given
the
that
main one where you think? What the main one where you think? It not nothing to do with the white man, with us. What do you think is the main one?
I think because we had to pretend for so long, many of us had to pretend for so long, we start believing the lie.
And I think it was unity. We fear we're not united. There's no unity among us.
True.
And while you look at other races, they will put down their differences and unite to make them race better. Because everything come down to race. Me travel the world, I'm in a queue and nobody say everything come down to race. If you look on politics in America, everything come down to race. And a lot of things them I say, we hear enough people on the program say, the people are nasty this and they're nasty that. But this is systematically designed, then give them politics and then give them religion. So they're blind. We don't have to sorry for them. They are blind, their eyes are not open. And if you try open their eye, they will kill you. And it might sound like a joke, but you go down and try, tell them people some truth and show them something, and you see what happens. You can open all the people them before. They will murder people for the truth. Because
True.
systematically designed a way for the other people them for control. So them have them little robots out there where them put for work. You will go crazy trying to educate these people because they are blind.
Well, and that is the reason why, I have an optional platform. Those who choose to stay, they stay. Those who
Yeah, but
choose
some
to
of
be
them don't need
ignorant,
to come over there because them might come with politics and this and all them don't realize they just have to show up to educate people. The system, like this
right,
this is the resources you have can use for whatever you feel the people are not right.
right.
I mean, I think you need a button where anytime they come with the politics, you just press it and say, you don't feel over yourself. Because you don't come to class to learn, you come to become object.
But you see,
I,
me try to give them a little chance first. Because sometimes they talk little politics like just in them blood.
yeah, man.
But
You
we just
you
want to
try
make sure,
you try to keep a blind man. Let me see how far you are gonna go. Try to be educate a blind man. Cause them a come and waste time. Cause people that they want to learn, and them a come with negativity and politics and this. We don't want to hear that. We just want to learn what is out there that can be used to benefit the society.
right.
And more politics in Jamaica, what the country can do for you, I know what you can do for your country, make the country better. I just
That's
grab
true.
what the country can do for you. But me glad for you show, yeah, cause me learn little something, even though them come kill up the time, but go and do your thing and respect. Love every time.
Yeah, man, big up yourself. Lawful,
Alright. But
always.
we have to tell the people them say, yo, them blinded by politics and religion, so you can't expect no better from them. It's like I waste your time. I try beat it, man.
Yeah, man, that's why I get them down whenever I can, if they
Yeah,
come up and
man.
about the
Yeah, you
foolishness.
need a red button over there, man.
Yeah,
Leave!
yeah. Yep.
Alright.
All right, cool. Big up. All right. So I think we had everyone come up now. So, people, I always start with foundational knowledge, right? We cannot have a fruitful discussion, just an opinionate, like that I stand up on that tree and I talk, like a story and I give insight and all that something. That is not this. This is like a fireside where you have your book, me have my book. We are exchange actual ideas and we are build from it. Right? Me I show you why in my book. You might learn something, or if you have a fact or something that you want to share or come up with, hey, by all means, right? But we not depend on the opinions over here, so, right? You know, and for those who stick around, it is not that we don't want you over here, you know. Because I know some people, them don't want the distraction, them want to get the straight facts, them want to get the straight knowledge, them want to get more so them can learn and grow. And I implore you to stay and see if you can just listen. You don't have to agree with what I am saying, okay? Just look and learn and research for yourself. If you don't agree with what is on the screen, what I am saying or what I am showing, go read it for yourself. You see? What you say? The picture freeze? Anybody else having connection issues? Who else not hear me? Okay. So, it is not a matter of always so-called being right, because I am always learning. As much as you think I know, I am always learning. Me no look on it like say, listen, me know what me I talk about and you don't know what I talk about. That's why I'm always give people the benefit of the doubt, make them start and make them point. But you see, once you keep on a talk and you can't point to no source, you can't point to no fact, you can't show me nothing that is verifiable, we can't have a conversation. Right? Especially people who join in at the middle of the conversation and then feel like them know what them are talk about. And then when you show them the evidence, them still defend it. You're not gonna learn. You're not gonna learn. So this is why we show the evidence of what we are talking about. Right? And if I am going to talk about something, you best believe I know what I'm talking about. Alright? Unless there is a perspective that I missed. You are certainly not going to come here with opinions and have any leeway. Right? I'm not going to be disrespectful, but you can't come up and talk about opinions and we're just going to let you keep on talking and talking because it's a distraction, right? And this is why I don't typically allow people to come up before we get to the end of the live. So, anyways, like I said, look out for the announcements. Either I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with an announcement tomorrow, but more than likely they are not going to be enforcing much of that so-called prohibition order that they so-called come up with. But let's see, because they've done it before, so let's see what they are going to do this time, because I am almost certain the agents are also on the live taking notes. So this live is going to be also available on YouTube, more than likely by tomorrow. So for those of you who want to watch the replay, you can go to Jamaicans Assemble on YouTube. So right now the channel has 110 subscribers You can just type in Jamaicans Assemble into YouTube and you will see the shield, right? And you'll be able to get to the replays from there. All right, so I hope everyone have a great night. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will continue again on Sunday. All right, big up on yourself. Lawful, always. Good night.